Welcome to Let's Talk Sense, the podcast that cuts through the noise and gets straight to the heart of what's really going on. Each month, we dive into a different topic, from SEND and current events to the trends shaping our world. We're here to share different perspectives, offer honest insights, and have conversations that truly make sense of it all. Let's talk sense. And this time of the day, wherever you are, we are going to talk sense with retired Inspector Wellington from the beautiful island of Jamaica, currently living in the US of A. Canine handler. We're going to talk some more about that. But for now, I just want to let you know who our guest is. I'm going to ask her to introduce herself, tell us her full name, where she was born, and how she entered into the world of being a canine handler.
Thank you so much. I am Claudette Ann Wellington, hail from the beautiful parish of St. Elizabeth, that's in Jamaica, now residing in Nashville, Tennessee, USA.
Fantastic. That's a big jump from Senti to Nashville. How did you make that journey? And did it have to do with, did it have anything to do with the fact that you are now retired from the Jamaica Constabulary Force?
Yes, after my retirement, both I have two kids, and both are living in the United States here. And my daughter needed help with her children, so I joined her in Florida. But she was getting too dependent on me, and everything was mommy, mommy, mommy. And she got married. So I tricked her, told her I'm taking a 2 weeks off. And the 2 weeks now is 4 years. That's history.
Interesting. So you mentioned that you have two adult children, and you
Yes,
went your mommy instinct kicked into play when your daughter became a mommy herself, and you wanted to
right,
help her.
right.
But let's take a step back. I want to talk a little bit about your time in the force. When you ended your career, you ended as a retired inspector of police.
Yes, I
What was
did.
your what was your training like, and what was your specialism?
Well, my training was just regular police day to day duties. And after I graduated the training school, I trained at Port Royal. After
Mhm.
I graduated training school, I was assigned duties at the Kingston Central. And then did a short stint at the immigration division. And being there, I spent a short time. Then I was transferred to St. James Division. Being at St. James, I wanted to come back to Kingston. The only how I could reach back to Kingston is join the Canine Division. At the time, the Canine Division was in charge of the entire island of Jamaica. So you had canine personnel from Kingston working in Montego Bay. And I just loved the dogs. I was fascinated by them. So I asked to be transferred to Canine Division. And then I was able to work back in Montego Bay with my dog and all over the island of Jamaica. And I was the first female in the history of the Jamaica Constabulary Force to join the Canine Division.
Well done, you're a pioneer.
Oh, yes.
Fantastic.
Yes.
Now, being a canine handler is very specialized.
Yes.
What was it like forming that partnership with a police dog?
Well, you had to go through 8 weeks training, and my instructor came from England because at the time Jamaica was not breeding their own dogs, or dogs were imported from England, and some came trained, and some the handlers over there came out and trained us in Jamaica to use the dogs. It was very good. My dad always have dogs at home, so I was always a part of a dog life.
Yeah, but
Yes.
so you have a police dog. What exactly is the police dog going to do? I mean,
I have to train.
bark at criminals. What
No,
is
no,
it
no, no,
done?
no. I trained my dog to detect drugs. My dog could
Oh,
detect ganja, cocaine, and all other illegal drug substance. So that's what I was trained in. And later I was trained in giving dogs command, and that part of it was not the drug section. You had a different, it was two separate training. One for
yes.
drugs and one for, what would I call that now? That was more of a display. When you go to, you have some
Oh,
displays with the
like an
dogs.
exhibition.
Exhibition, yes.
Yes. All
But the
right.
one that I was mostly involved in was the drug section. I used to work at both ports,
Okay. So
airport in
now,
Kingston and airport in Montego Bay. And we
okay.
used to go on the wharves and check before the people could ship their goods off the island.
Yes, yes. So, what would you say was your most successful operation with your canine partner without
Well,
telling state secrets?
no, no, no. It wouldn't be any secret, because when your dog is alert on any drugs, you have to arrest the person and take the person to court. So I have a very few successful cases at the time.
Well, you said you were the first canine female canine handler in Jamaica. N- Um, you have been
In the
retired for
Jamaica Police Force, I don't know if any other private sector had female dog handler. I don't know of that.
Oh yes, yeah, definitely the Jamaica Constabulary Force. So, looking back, you would have set a trend. How many female handlers are there now?
At present, I saw in the force orders, that is the weekly newsletter in the force, where I see about six females there now. I don't know if they have more, but I saw some female. But in my time, I was the only one
Only
there.
one. Well done,
Yes.
well done. So, in terms of your being successful as a canine operator, would you say that it was an easy journey for you, or did you have difficulties that you had to overcome mainly because you were female?
I wouldn't say it was easy. It was challenging. It was
Mm-hmm.
challenging. I remember once I was training a dog, and the dog was very aggressive. And one of the males said to me that it's because I'm a female, I don't know how to handle the dog. And I said, you take him and train him. The next thing, he ended up at the hospital. Yes, he was attacked by
Wow.
the dog. So it can be very challenging. But when you find, my favorite dog is a shepherd. And I
Okay.
trained a German shepherd. And that shepherd was so protective of me. No one could come close to me. And the only thing I think a German shepherd can do is to speak.
Wow.
They are so
So
intelligent. They are so, so intelligent. So,
excellent.
it's very exciting.
Wow. So let me ask you something. In what areas did the canine unit's responsibilities impact your change your career, or how do you see its greatest value in Jamaican policing?
Well, being at the canine division, you have to have self discipline. You have to have a lot of that, because going out there with your dogs, people will cheer you, people will pass all different kind of remarks against you. So things like that, you have to know that you have to, things like that you will encounter on a daily basis. So it helps you to be a stronger person and a more dedicated person. When you see how your dog perform, oh Lord, that's a joy. That's a
Yes, yes.
joy. That's a joy. Because whenever your dog makes a fine and the reaction. He sits and he looks at you, and you know that, well, something is there. Something illegal is there. It's a joy. It's
Yes,
very
because
fulfilling.
exactly, he has done his job. He has done
Oh,
his
yes.
job.
Oh, yes.
Um, there is an issue with the post-retirement care for police dogs. What resources or policies do you believe should be in place in Jamaica to ensure that these animals are getting the retirement that they deserve?
Well, when a dog is going into retirement, the handler have the option of keeping the dog for a personal, as a pet, or any member of the force who sees the dog and love the dog can get the dog. If the dog is at a stage where his health is deteriorating, he might be put to sleep. But I think
Ah,
I think they are well taken care of. They're well taken care of.
how did you prepare for that move?
Well, working at the police federation is like an election. People have to vote for you to represent them because the federation is the legal body of the police force that represents our members for better working conditions, salary, whatever. You understand? So working at I was just an ordinary member of the federation before going to the meeting, and I liked it. So I say, I think I could do representation. So
Yes.
I run, and the first year I run, I won.
Yes, well,
So
and I
yes,
think you maintained that connection right up to retirement.
even now, because you have members in the force now who'd call me and ask me for advice on certain
Right.
things. So
Okay.
you still do
Still
that.
have that impact. So
Oh yes,
I'm so happy you mentioned your stint in the executive of the Police Federation. And as a member, you mentioned that you're basically advocating for your colleagues. What
right.
would you say is the most significant issue you championed for policy change?
Well,
Or yeah.
I would say people would say salary.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody wants more pay,
Money, yes.
more pay. Although I would say there are other things that we had a time when we had changed the appearance of how the female could dress. Because a female was not allowed to wear earring in the force, but after a time during my stint, they were allowed to wear knobs.
Yeah. But why do you think would that be important?
Because there were people who were trying to wear it and they would have been charged because it was not a part of the force policy. So instead of having them being charged for breaking the rules of the of
Rules.
the force, we try to make it a part of the optional
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
those who wanted. But the size was very important, just knobs.
Yeah. But you mentioned that the size is important, but how would that impact on your policing?
Yeah, because if it's so big and you're arresting somebody, they can grab on it and hurt you. So you have to be very careful there.
Yes. It's a
So the
matter
size
about
is
health and
very important.
safety.
Yes, yes,
Yes, yes, yes.
yes.
Now, um, as you know, police work is not easy.
No, no.
Police work is not easy. How did you handle the demands of frontline police work, canine duties, and federation business?
Well, each 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 section that I work, didn't work at the canine division whilst I was at the federation. The federation was a full-time job. So
Oh,
although I might be stationed at Halfway Tree, the members of Halfway Tree division would not know see me unless they come to the federation because I was on temporary release to the police federation, right? And
okay.
working with the dogs, and when you arrest people, I can tell you that. if you arrest a man for drugs and you do it in a professional way, not telling any lies on him and just do it the proper way, even when they are convicted, they will be a friend.
Wow.
Yes, yes, they'd have no ill feelings against you because guess what? You did not lie on them. Yep.
Yes. Wow. That's so interesting, you know, um, because the perception of the police force is not always one that's positive.
No.
And the JCF has faced intense scrutiny at times in terms of public confidence in them. As a member of the federation, how did your group work to address serious concerns about accountability and perceived misconduct in the police force?
Well, the Federation would not so much dealt with the accountability. What the Federation would do is to encourage our members to be as professional as they possibly can,
Okay.
because any infringement of in discipline,
Standard.
we would have to
Mhm.
represent them. Or if it is
Mm.
bigger than we can deal with, we have to pay a lawyer to represent them.
Okay.
So,
Yes.
professionalism was what the Federation would always encourage our
Right.
members to do in the most times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So let me ask you something. When you become a police officer, do you have like a pledge to that you have to uphold, or
Yes,
code
yes.
of
Yeah, you have
conduct
to.
and things?
Yes, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. There's a code of conduct. Oh, yes.
And
Yes.
uh, your training, would you have been exposed from during your training to the code of conduct, or would you be exposed to the code of conduct after graduation from training?
No, during training. During training. And let me tell you something. The training school is like a university. But what is happening, or what happens during my time, when a person from the public is about to join the police force, the police in the area has to do a background check on that person. So when that police in the area might go to Mr. Blair to ask him about Tom Jones, we don't know if Mr. Blair is a friend of Tom Jones. We
Mm-hmm.
only have
Mm-hmm.
to find people who can give you information about Tom Jones. And
Yes.
you might know that Tom Jones is a thief, but you want to get him out of the district. So you tell the police, he's a very good young man. He's a decent man. He's from a good
Good
family.
family.
And you go again and you ask the next person. You're not going to take one person and you
No.
get a
Yeah.
sounding recommendation. Then guess
Yes.
what? You recommend him for the force.
Of course.
But guess
Yes.
what? He's a kleptomaniac.
Yes.
So no matter what you do, you're not going to get it right all the time. The
Yes.
public has to help. The public have a duty. If you want your country to be have the best police, give us the best people you have out there.
Yes. That makes
Yes,
sense. That
yes,
makes
give us the
sense.
best people. Yeah, but I
Yeah.
think it has changed a lot now.
Mm.
A lot, because when I look and see now, you have so many members of the Jamaica Constabulary Force now with a PhD.
Exactly.
With
Yes.
a PhD. You have a bachelor degree in the Jamaica Constabulary Force now. It's like in your days you have a 60.
Yes, norm.
A lot of members have the master's degree and some go
Yeah.
on to PhD.
Christy,
Yes,
yes.
yeah.
And that augurs well for the force, because the
Oh yes.
more
Oh yes.
the wider the more diverse the force in terms of academics and your experience, the better the force is and the
Oh
better the
yes.
country is,
Oh
as
yes.
you've said.
Oh yes. You have
Yeah.
a lot of members who went to Norman Manley Law School, came out with a
Yes.
law degree. The force is
Yes.
way ahead now.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Um, Now, one of the challenges that the JCF is facing is in terms of or has faced possibly is facing it now, is attrition and losing experienced officers. What must be done from an executive point and a cultural point to retain the talent and modernize the force? What would you say?
Well, I think the attrition rate is not that much now
Okay.
because of the salary. Everybody is looking where they can get pay, the
Yeah.
best pay. You
Yeah.
understand? And I know right now the Jamaica police are better paid than teachers out there. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes.
So the pay, I think the pay is what would keep them there, and
Hmm.
they have the ability to go back to school while they're serving. So I
Hmm.
don't think the attrition rate. You still have
Yes.
people who migrate and things like that, but it's not that
That's
like before.
yes. And so, do you think that the country presently has enough members of the police force to keep the country safe and
No, we
running?
still we always want members. We
Yeah.
always want because people retire. You
Yes.
understand? People sick and you have death, so we always need people. I can tell you that. People retire. I don't think I have anybody that trained with me still serving.
Okay.
No.
And are you, do you think that the JCF is targeting the right people? Are they going into high schools, sixth forms, and
Yes.
colleges to say,
Oh yes.
we need you in the force? Or are
Oh
they
yes.
just, yeah, tell me a little bit about how that,
Yes, I
um,
think the recruitment drive is in the high schools, and when people look, the commissioner has a PhD.
yes, yes,
And
yes,
others out there say, well, I can join the force and I can have my PhD too. So let
yes,
me tell you, we are having some of the best, the most educated people joining the Jamaica Constabulary Force right now.
before.
I'm a
Yeah.
proud of it. I'm so proud of where the Jamaica Constabulary Force is now.
Yes.
We are
Would
here.
would you where would you rank them in terms of the world standing?
Ah, I
And that might
am
be a
not
biased question.
yet very, because I'm a past member. So what do you think I'm gonna say? They're up there. They're up there. Yes.
Uh,
And let me tell you, living in this country, in the United States, Jamaica Constabulary Force is a decent organization. If you want to see corrupt police, visit the United States. I can tell you that.
oh, and it's interesting that you have said so. Could you share with me what your experience has been living in the USA as a retired inspector of police, coming into contact with the US police force? What would you say are major differences and what would you say are similarities?
Well, I have to be careful how I address that question, because I don't know if you know that my daughter is a serving member of the police force here. She's a sergeant of police, but she works with the FAU, Florida
Yeah.
Atlantic University. She's a police officer on the compound there.
Oh,
But
yes.
I think I've come in contact with two police officers for speeding. And I can tell you that my police knowledge in Jamaica helped me to not even get a ticket.
Wow.
And they were white police officers. But whenever
Okay.
police stops you, it depends on your attitude and your mannerism.
Okay.
Yes. And then I'm from a very spiritual family, a Christian family. And when he stopped me and he said I was speeding, I said, Officer, I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. I'm at your mercy. And when I finished with the officer, he said, have a good
And
day
bless
and
you
drive carefully. So it
carefully.
all depends on your attitude and your mannerism and how you, even when I was in the police force, and if I stop a motorist and they're humble and, you know, I will talk to them and show them when they go around, but when they're going to try to be hostile, I'm going to give them the book. Yeah. Everything that go wrong, I'm going to charge you for it. So
Yes.
I
But
took that with me here and I have no
yes.
problem. But there are a lot of corrupt officers here and racism is still high here,
And
especially
that's
where I'm living, especially where I'm living.
Oh, well, and that's the thing that I wanted to talk to you a little bit about. Quite often parents of Black boys, Black men, have to have a conversation with their children when they live in the States about what to do when you're stopped
Yes,
by the police.
yes,
Make sure your
yes,
hands are
yes,
visible,
yes,
move slowly. And
yes.
what it's quite mind-boggling for somebody from Jamaica. And I do know that our police can be very strict and very hard, but I don't know that we have experienced racist police in Jamaica. And
No,
and
I don't
so
think that. I don't
so
think so.
how have you been able to reconcile the Caribbean way of policing with the American way of policing?
Well, let me tell you something. The first time I was stopped by a police officer in the United States here, I didn't know he was stopping me. I saw the
Really?
flashing light and I didn't know he was referring to me, because in Jamaica, if I'm going to stop you, I'm going to call out your license plate number
That's
and ask you to pull over. All I see was the light. And I said, why this officer is driving behind me, flashing his light?
Why
So I
doesn't he
kept
pass?
driving. So I kept driving, and then I said, you know what, let me stop and let him pass, because might be he wants to pass. When I stopped, he stopped too. That was so, different from what I would accustomed to in Jamaica.
Yes.
Yeah, and the street was busy. He said he was observing the way I was driving in and out of traffic, because I was traveling from Georgia back to Tennessee. Yes, so it's
Uh,
different.
yes,
But you
yes.
have to educate your children how to deal. Even in Jamaica, you need to educate your children how to deal with the police, or even how to deal with adult people.
That's true.
Because
Yes.
children seems, when their parents not around,
It's
the
a different
behavior is
behavior.
different. Yes.
Different
So we need her
behavior.
to tell them, be at your best behavior at all time. Because when I told
Yes.
my daughter the speed I was going, she said, you could be arrested, mommy. Yes.
Yes.
But then
Yes.
the way I spoke with that police officer,
Made
and
a
I
big
begged for
difference.
mercy. Yes.
Yes, but good manners is never anything to ignore. Has its always has its place in
Yeah,
society.
because all time people would say manners take you through the world.
The world,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
Now, let me ask you, as a retired executive, what is the most significant change that you believe the Jamaica Constabulary Force needs in order to build
A better
a
relationship.
yeah, especially in vulnerable communities, trust in vulnerable communities.
What we need the police to understand the people who they are dealing with.
Mhm.
You cannot just have a paintbrush and paint everybody the same. No, when you go into a back to a Tivoli garden, they're different sort of upbringing. You understand? So sometimes you have to get down to their level for them to understand you. You understand? I remember there was a shooting in Bacto where a policeman gone accidentally shot a baby. And I was one of the few police who they allowed there. And you know why? When I went there and I saw them crying, I started. They break my heart. And I
Yeah.
started, and they said, but she's a human. So they thought
Yes.
police, are not human beings.
Human. Yes.
So we have sometimes just to need to understand people, the people, the way you deal with a person from up,
Constant
maybe up
Spring.
Red Hills or up
Balvenie
Ligani.
Heights.
Yes, you will never deal with a person in Tivoli Garden or Raytown like that. And you can still deal with them and be their friend.
Yes.
You understand?
Yes.
Sometimes they just want somebody to listen to them and somebody to acknowledge that they are
Yes.
human.
Yes.
Yes, they just
Yes.
want them to be acknowledged. They don't want it to be there shout, the way you deal
Yes.
with people have a lot. And psychology is very important. I think they need to do a little of that in the police force.
It's about building relationships and
Yes,
creating bonds.
yes,
Yes.
yes. But you have to know what people needs are before you can
Yes.
create a bond with them.
Yes. So it's
Yes,
about making time for people.
yes,
And
yes.
Making time for the people. You know, one of the things you mentioned early on is that you're a spiritual person, and I know you are from a Christian home. Tell me a
Yes,
little
I
bit
am.
about how your Christian upbringing has impacted your work as a member of the Jamaica Constabulary Force.
And you know, it has. It has. I remember one day I was in my office at the Police Federation, and everybody was afraid to deal with a certain member because she had so many problems. And they said, Miss Wellington, you take that one. And when I went to speak, I said, did you ever think that maybe this is what God wants for you? So when I think my upbringing have led me to touch many hearts and many people in the police force. As a matter of fact, when I was working in Hunts Bay, I remember there was a young lady, they said in the guard room, in school uniform, not going to school, and she was more than rude to the police officers. And when I went to speak with her, I said, why are you here? She came to meet her father. Your father's a police? No, ma'am. I said, so why are you here? He comes to report on condition of bail. I said, what was he charged for? Murder. You know, that child ended up living with me for 5 years, and she still calls me mommy? Yes. I just made
Wow.
a thought. When I finished speaking with her, I said, do you want to come and live with me? Just didn't mean it. I did not. I just said, and they said, ma'am, she's out there with up to her clothes basket. I couldn't send her home. I have to take her home with me. Up to today date, she called me mommy.
That was a bit risky.
Yes, yes,
Her dad
yes,
be charged for murder, and then she's
yes,
come to live with you in your home. You don't know anything
yes,
about her.
yes, yes.
Is that because of your strong belief in God and the fact
Oh
that
yes,
you think you
oh
can
yes,
change people?
oh yes, oh yes. And even in dealing with some of the police officers, people say psychology, but when you have to use God sometime and show them what God would have wanted them to do. And sometimes you break them with that. And when you're even on the road and speaking to some people, and when you start to tell them about the love of God and things like that, they don't expect to hear that from a police officer. But now I see where police in uniform are preaching. Very good.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes, yes.
You were sounding very much like a preacher there. I read somewhere where it said you wish to be a pastor's wife. Now, were you serious about that or were you joking?
I was serious about that because in the country, when you go to church and you see pastor wife, and that's somebody you'd like to emulate. And I always think I would marry to a pastor. Yes,
Well,
and
you
let me
you
tell you
sounded like a
something.
pastor's wife a while ago.
When I used to go out to funerals to bring condolences on behalf of the Police Federation, people always think I'm the pastor's wife. The way I dress, they always say, "Oh, she's the pastor's wife." Yes.
Well,
So
even
although I never get a pastor to marry to, people still see me looking like a pastor's
like a
wife.
pastor's wife,
And
and
even here in the United States, when I dress for church, people look at me differently because this is just the way I dress.
And,
Yes.
I need to tell you something that I've always admired your strength and the way you present yourself, not just as a person, but mainly because of the way you're dressed now, your Afrocentric approach, your love for culture. And I want to know, when did that or how did that develop? Because you're quite the
Well,
fashionista, the African
yes.
fashionista. How did
Let
that
I tell you
develop?
something. Whilst I was in the Jamaica Constabulary Force, there was a time when we had some exchange from Jamaica to Africa to Nigeria. The police, Jamaica police, they went on a mission there. I was supposed to go, but my baby was young and I didn't want to leave my baby, my daughter. And my girlfriend went. And when she came back, she bought me three African outfits and I had to pay her for them. And then I just get so attached to it. And
Yeah.
that was about uh 1980. Yes. And from
Wow.
then, and even when people didn't even learn to appreciate it,
Yeah.
I said, this is me. But now I see where a lot of people are, you know, appreciating the
Yes.
African culture. I just love
Yes.
it.
You wear it so well. So thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
representing.
Thank you. Thank
Thank you
you.
very much for representing. You know, I you are a mother of two adults. What would
Yes.
you say is the most rewarding part of seeing them forge their own paths, especially bearing in mind your own unique upbringing?
Well, you can train your children, but when they become adults, they will always differ. And people always wonder. My daughter, when she left Jamaica and came to America, she had 1 year to finish high school. She did a 1 year in sixth form. And when she came, she went in the army.
Mm.
She went in the army. And I was upset with her because she was in the army without a degree. So after telling her how upset I was, she left the army, went back to school, got a master's degree, started as a social worker. And she
Wow.
did, yes, she have a master's degree in social work. And then in no time, she switched and she's now a police officer, as I said. So
Wow.
I tell people it's in her genes. Well, my son, I don't know if it's a uniform thing because he's in the fire department. So I'm wondering if it's a uniform thing in the family. I don't know.
I want to think that it's more that your children have recognized that you are very much about serving your community, and they have learned that from you, and they're now doing the same thing in their adopted country.
Yes,
And I think
I
that's what I think that's what I want to hold on. Let me you know, we're talking about the situation now that Jamaica, the Constabulary Force, have more members who are more educated,
oh
have
yes.
higher levels of degree, are more diverse, are more exposed, more experienced, more talented. Quite a number of them are spiritual. But Jamaica does have a problem with crime, like anywhere else. I'm not, well, not picking out Jamaica as the sole place of crime, but we do have a high rate of crime. What would you say are some key strategies that the police and the government could prioritize right now?
Well, when you look at the crime rate in Jamaica, I don't know if you are aware that most of the crimes are committed by family members. So this is
Yes.
where the church needs to do more too.
Wow.
This is where the church needs, the police is doing a good job, and the
Yes.
police might have more to do, but the church needs to do more. And when you look at Jamaica and see how many churches
Per square
in
foot, yeah.
Jamaica, why we
Square
have so many
miles.
crimes, but
Yes.
most of the crimes are within the
The
family.
family. Yeah.
So there's a there's no family values.
Yes. Yes. So
Yes.
you there was something in when I was a child growing up in Jamaica, the schools had something called Peace and Love in School, PALS,
You're
that
right.
program. I don't know if it's still happening in Jamaica, but
I don't think
um,
so.
when I was also growing up, the sense of community and the sense of family was very strong, and children could be
Yes.
reprimanded by anybody, adults could speak to any child, but we don't see that happening. So it does
No.
seem that family values have been eroded and the
Right.
family structure has broken down. um you said the church needs to do more, but what do you think families need to be doing? Is it that we are having younger children having children and therefore they are not able to pass on values because they themselves are children? Or do you think it's this phenomenon of the missing father? Or is it that everybody is becoming very materialistic? What do you think could be the reason why the families are not as strong as they could be or should be?
I think what needs to be done, people needs to call it wrong, wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes we cover up too much. You understand? And
Mm-hmm.
children get away with too many things, and they are the adult of tomorrow. And if
Mm-hmm.
you cannot show your child where he or she is going wrong, what do you expect will happen late in later years? Huh?
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
discipline have to start right at home, in the
Yes.
school. And then when they become adults, they'll just know how to operate themselves.
Mhm.
But if you don't teach them what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yes.
What is going to happen? And that is where now when they're not taught how to conduct themselves, it becomes a problem to the police force.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. You mentioned about calling wrong by, calling out wrong and acknowledging. So we're really talking about people being accountable
Yes.
and
Yes.
taking
Yes.
responsibility.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yes.
And even sometimes the people who you are dependent upon to be the voice, no, they
No.
want to be popular, so they're not going to say anything.
Yes.
And they
Yes.
point their finger on one set of people to do it. No,
Yeah.
it doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. It doesn't
Yeah.
work like that. Everybody have to
Yeah.
be your brother's keeper. Yes,
Yes. And that's
we
so
need to
important.
practice more that.
Yeah, brother's keeper. We have to remember no man is an island
No man stands alone.
alone.
No,
Yes. Yes. We
no.
have to think about the other person. Wow. You you're now retired. You came up to help your daughter. You moved away from her. What would you say is the biggest adjustment that you have had to make since retiring from the police force? And how are you channeling your energy and discipline,
Let,
that you took from your career?
let me tell you something. When I came to Nashville, to Tennessee, I found myself being a part of an organization similar to the police force. But then I said, no, I am retired. Yes, I was a part as a member of the sheriff department. Yes, you didn't know that? Yes.
You can't run away from these things.
So I said, it's so much like the police force.
Yes.
And
Yes.
then I take a big leap of faith, went back to school, qualified as a CNA, and work with old people. And they call me the singing assistants.
Oh,
And
wow.
and they love it so much because sometimes I'm there singing and I don't even know that
Yeah.
they're listening to me.
So it's interesting. Even now, your childhood is evident in your life because
Yes,
that Christian
yes,
lifestyle that you have, you're now taking care of elderly people, but there's also discipline that is involved. There's
yes. And the
that.
songs I sing are songs of my hymnal, my church hymnal. So they would
Yes.
know what a friend we have in
Did you have
Jesus.
it, Jesus?
And
Yes.
and songs like that, stand up for Jesus.
For Jesus.
Yes. And they sometimes they help, they sing with me. And I said, oh my Lord.
Yes.
Oh my
Yes.
Lord, it is so refreshing and it is so fulfilling when you hear them.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
happy. I'm just happy.
Um, it's interesting. You're retired. You're helping people who are retired themselves.
Yes.
What was it that made you know it was time for you to retire?
Well, in Jamaica, I took early retirement. I did not
Did
reach
you?
retirement age. I took early retirement because of my daughter, because she was having the kids
Oh,
and she needed help.
yes, yes.
Yes. And
You
at the
mentioned
same
it.
time she was having the children, she right now she's planning to go and do her PhD. So she's always studying. She wrote a book. So she's always
But yeah, of poetry. Yes,
yes.
I think it's
So
yes,
she needed help and she always want to go further, further. And I
yes,
just like that about her. Yes.
Yes.
So
Yes.
she needed help with the children, and I thought it was one of the better decision for me to make to come and help her. Have no
So
regrets.
it goes back to family and the bond
Yes.
that we can.
Yes.
It's that community, that sense of
Yes. Yes.
community, always helping, never, and we never
Yes.
ever leave the family out. Whatever we can do to help the family make progress, we're definitely
That's
doing
it.
it.
That's it. That's it.
Apart from your family, and your family is here with you, part of them is here with you in the States.
Yes.
Um, what are the things that you miss about Jamaica now that you're living
The
in the
food.
States?
The food. My mango tree. The fruits. Oh
Yes.
Lord. Oh Lord. The fruits. Oh my God. I have guinea tree at home. I have mango tree. I have June plum tree. I miss,
Uh,
and I love callaloo, and I can't get that down
yes,
here. So I love the
do you,
food. I love the miss the food. Yes,
yeah. So,
yes.
so what is it most that you're enjoying about retirement in the US? And I know you're not retired, but what you're enjoying about retirement in the US?
Well, I don't think I'm enjoying much in the US. I want to go back home, and I'm planning to go back home soon. There's no
Okay.
place like home.
There's no
There's no
place
place
like
like
home.
home. Yes,
And I know, we and it doesn't matter where Jamaicans are, they will always say there's no place like home, regardless of what's happening. And interestingly, we just experienced a hurricane.
yes,
And
yes,
what I've always been proud of as a Jamaican is our resilience, our ability to bounce back, our ability to take bad things, make laugh, our
yes,
ability to come rise like the phoenix.
yes.
What would you say is that um, aspect of being Jamaican that you're most proud of?
Well, there's a we little but with Talawa, Jamaica. Even in the hurricane, and when I turn on my TV, the hurricane was not only going to Jamaica, but Jamaica was focused. Everybody was talking about Jamaica.
Yes,
You understand?
yes,
We
yes,
have
yes,
some very intelligent, some very hardworking, some very dedicated people in Jamaica that make Jamaica proud.
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yes.
yes.
And
It
everybody wants to be a Jamaican. When you speak here and I say I'm a Jamaican, oh, beautiful island. And everybody asks, can you cook jerk chicken?
oxtail,
Do you know
jerk
to oh
chicken.
my lord, do you know to do oxtail? So everybody wants a piece of Jamaica. Jamaica is
Yes,
nice, and
yes.
I know I'll be soon be going back home.
You know, it's not that we ignore the fact that we have problems. We don't ignore the fact that there's crime. We don't ignore the fact that there's poverty. But we believe that together we can make it. Our motto
Yes.
says, out of many, we are one. So there's that sense of community that runs throughout all of us, you know. And our lives, I think anybody who comes in contact with Jamaicans, their lives are much richer for the experience. And I know we're biased when we say
Yes.
that, but it's
Yes.
true.
Yes.
It's true. Um, Looking back at the multiple experiences you've had, the multiple hats you've worn, your mother, inspector, canine handler, federation executive, immigrant, care worker, educated person with a second degree and what have you. What would you say is the one life lesson that connects all of your experiences?
My upbringing.
Wow.
My upbringing. Let me tell you something that goes with you throughout your life. You might have a child and you train that child and you think the child differ from your training. No, it's always there.
Train up a
It's
child in
always
the
there.
way.
Wherever I go to live, I always want to find out, is there a Seventh-day Adventist church nearby? I want to go to church. It's just
Yes,
a
yes.
part of me. So my home upbringing is what I think. bring me through the world.
Very good.
Yes.
Wow. Well, uh, ladies and gentlemen, we have heard some wonderful bits of information, nuggets of wisdom and life experience from retired Inspector Claudette Ann Wellington. It has
Yes,
been my
ma'am.
pleasure to have you this evening with me as we talk sense. And we've spoken quite a lot about crime. We've spoken about policing in Jamaica. We've spoken about policing in the United States. We've spoken about being a spiritual person and having an impact on other person's lives. We've spoken about the importance of having discipline, of training up your children, of calling wrong wrong, and standing up for that which is right. And we've spoken about the changes that the Jamaica Constabulary Force has undergone. Nowadays we have more educated persons, persons with degrees in the
Yes.
force. More talent is there, and
Yes.
we are so happy that we've had the first canine female canine handler in the Jamaica Constabulary Force being our special guest today on Let's Talk Sense. Annie, thank you ever so much for being with us. Ladies and gentlemen,
Thank
boys
you
and
for
girls,
having me.
it's been a
It was a
pleasure.
pleasure.
It's been a pleasure. It's that time, but that's all the time we have for having our talk with my special guest. It's all the time we have for this episode of Let's Talk Sense. Thanks so much for joining me and being a part of this important conversation. We'll be back soon with another conversation you don't want to miss. Until next time, keep the conversation going. Let's
Thank you.
talk